Good morning, this is Wild Rocket coming to you from Osaka, Kansai region, Japan. It's about 9 in the morning here, and I wanted to check in with you all and make a video. The background music, is just starting to play as I'm speaking now, which is basically the sign that the day is beginning and the work day is beginning, and that the guest house in which I'm staying and living is coming alive. It's my first video in quite a while. In fact. Many things have happened in my life since then. I've since left England and I relocated back to Japan. The process of doing so is admittedly quite rushed. I didn't really plan it or think about it. I was quite settled, quite comfortable with my life in England. I had a very great job, great environment. I lived in a wonderful house in a wonderful community, and I had no complaints whatsoever. But I had, deep down, I had an intuitive feeling that I needed to expand my horizons more and delve back into the unknown. I had a bit of a taste of that immediately after my near-death experience, in which I gathered all my newfound energy and made the initial trip to Japan, where I found a new job, came here for the first time, had a new experience. Then I went back to England for a year, which is more back on being on familiar turf again. Got very settled and comfortable there, and I came back here very quickly. Unlike the first time, didn't really plan it or think about it. I just dove right in, and it's been very interesting, very fun, very exciting since then, but also much more difficult and challenging than anything I'd been facing in England towards the latter end of that year that I spent there from 2015 to the end of 2016. So today I wanted to make a video about why moving out of your comfort zone can teach you so much about life. It's been about 3 months since I've left England and been living here in Osaka. So in that time, I've put myself in a very new environment. I'm no longer living in a private room. I'm no longer on my home soil. I'm no longer in an environment in which I can easily navigate and deal with things without having to expend a great deal of effort assimilating into the society and learning the language and learning how people do things here. Luckily for me, I've already had a year of experience doing that, but still, going back to England again and then coming back here, it's still a bit different, isn't it? So, 5 things about what moving out of your comfort zone can teach you. First is that you're going to face situations and people that will test you. Now, we all come from different backgrounds, not only in terms of where we come from and languages we speak, but we're born with a different life mission, we're born with different tendencies, and we develop different tendencies as we grow up. We have different experiences, we face different challenges in life. Sometimes we meet people who face similar things to what we're going through, and sometimes we meet people who are facing and dealing with very radically different things. And you're going to find that if you don't have experience dealing with many different types of people, that you're going to be tested, you're going to be challenged. People will try to find a way to well, people, whether or not they know it, people will bring out the best in you or the worst in you, depending on the kind of person that they are, and depending on how you respond to them, and depending on what you associate them with. So that's a very big thing. You'll also face situations that will challenge you. If you're not, if you are not used to being around a lot of different people, you're not used to being in an environment that always has a lot going on, in which you won't have your usual fallbacks of having a private space, or being able to sit down and meditate, or being able to take, whether it's a bath for 3 hours, or being able to spend all day in the kitchen listening to music while preparing, enough dinner for a week. If you put yourself in a new environment such as this, you're gonna face things that will test you, and then the next level is to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use all these challenges and difficulties that this new environment and these new people bring up? How can I use them in order to evolve to the next level? How can I bring them all together? How can I integrate them and use a positive approach towards responding in a way that is real, in a way that is courageous, but also in a way that is considerate and compassionate? That is very important as well, to fuse the two. Being brave and bold about who you are, but also being compassionate about other people's space. And number 2, you will find new ways to go forward. Picking up from the end of my last point, you will find new ways to develop and progress in this new society, in this new environment. For example, if you're in a place where your native language is not spoken, in order to deal with things like opening a bank account or getting some financial affairs sorted out, in your home soil, you may be able to easily do this by yourself. In a foreign environment, you may have to be courageous enough to ask somebody for help, to be willing to look vulnerable in the face of what would ordinarily be for you a very simple task, but in which, through the ordinary, through the basic, through learning how to deal with that in a very new environment, you will actually grow. It can also be as simple as finding new ways of making an income, making a living, finding a way to live your passion, live your dream, in an environment in which you don't have your usual fallbacks of your usual comforts, the things that you're familiar with. It becomes more important to find new ways of going forward, because you're not going to have the usual people cheering you on. You're not going to have the usual signals from the society around you telling you what you're doing is the right way. You're really going to have to rely on your own. You're going to have to trust in yourself more. You're going to have to believe in yourself more, and really embrace and really encourage yourself to break new ground in how you talk to people, how you deal with time pressures, how you deal with the unexpected happening, things not going according to plan. You may have been wanting to sit down quietly for an hour, but then you find that 2 people are playing chess and a guy has passed out on the sofa. And that's very fun, that's very interesting, even though at the time it may be frustrating. In the long run, it provides you with a great deal of growth opportunity. Number 3, you will take gratitude consciousness to the next level. When you have a lot, when you've built up a lot, your cup overfloweth. You're manifesting so much in a familiar environment, having a stable job, having a stable house. The more you are thankful for this, the more that they expand. But then if you choose to leave all of that, as I did recently, and put yourself in a place where you don't have all those things that you had before, gratitude consciousness becomes all the more important because now you have to focus on these new things and unfamiliar sensations which you may not be used to having, and being thankful for those, whether it's as simple as having a roof over your head, people to speak to, a warm environment in which you can study, being thankful for people, situations and events which may or may not be comfortable for you or easy for you to deal with, but which are nevertheless teaching you so much about life. So gratitude consciousness becomes something which you can really use to evolve to the next level. This is especially important in days when you're feeling down, in which you're feeling overwhelmed by all these unfamiliar things that are happening. You're overwhelmed by the lack of meaningful human contact. You're overwhelmed by the lack of tools, by the lack of validation from people. You're overwhelmed by the lack of everything you knew. Reversing all of that, accepting all of it, and diving into what you do have, and really embracing it, even if it's very small, and even if it seems so fleeting, you're going to find that it builds up in a very profound way. And then you use all of that, and you apply that gratitude to things you're not used to being thankful for, things that may frustrate you or test you or challenge you or make you feel like you're not worth anything. But that is the biggest lie we tell ourselves, that we're not worth anything, when we are really worth a lot. If you tell yourself that you are worthless, then you will be worthless, not because that's your nature, but because your perspective has shaped you like that. But then if you tell yourself that you're worthy of so much, you will be worthy of so much. And unlike saying you're worthless, when you say you're worthy, you will build yourself up. As well as it being a perspective that you embody, you build yourself up. If you tell yourself you're worthless, you may embody that, but then you'll bring yourself down, so you won't last as long. Number 4, all emotions, fears, tendencies, behaviors you are suppressing will come out of you. Everything will come into a focus. You're gonna, we become very used to suppressing parts of ourselves and shutting ourselves down in the face of challenges. And I still do that a lot. It's not something I'm only just beginning to get over it, but all emotion, when you are no longer able to hide yourself, when you're feeling frustrated, or when you're not feeling 100%, sooner or later, eventually, those parts of yourself which you've not fully embraced or accepted are going to come out in front of other people, and in situations in which you would rather they did not. So learning how to embrace that flow, embrace that explosion of emotion, learning how to deal with it and learning how to move with it, and realize that it is a part of you, is a very powerful transformational tool. And finally, number 5, you will lose everything, but in doing so you will gain so much. You will lose everything you loved before, be it your house, your home, the foods that you like to eat, easy contact with family and friends. You will lose all of that, but in doing so you will gain so much. You will gain evolution, you will gain the insight that comes from dealing with new people, new situations, dealing with people pressing your buttons and breaking your personal boundary space. You will deal with the transformation, the goodness that comes from learning how to deal with that in a way that is true to yourself, but also compassionate to them. You will gain bravery, you will gain courage to deal with situations which beforehand would have seemed completely unthinkable to you. You will learn how to be more forward with people, more assertive about what it is you want. You will learn to go into a situation knowing that you might fail, be it like going to an immigration office or a bank where people may or not be able to communicate with you fully. You know, failure, you realize that failure becomes part of the process, that making a mistake and falling on your face and feeling defeated is part of the process towards becoming stronger and becoming more evolved and becoming more happy and balanced. You will gain more happiness, more balance, you will gain more equilibrium, you will gain a closer sense of how profound the unity consciousness, how unity is not some abstract idea that says we are all one and the same, but that unity is actually basically a divine connection between everything in all of its variation, that we are all different in how we manifest ourselves on the surface and what we've been through in life, how we talk, what our preferences are, but we are all the same in that our souls are cut from the same thread. We all have the same basic needs. Human needs need to be loved, need to be fed, need to find warmth and acceptance, need to find purpose in life. That is something that unites all of us. And feeling that, not just knowing that in the abstract, but actually getting a sense of how that is true, even when people seem so radically different from you, is one of the deepest things that you can gain. And in doing so, that opens up a whole world of opportunities for you in terms of advancing your career, having a new place to live, having new experiences, doing more of what you love, having more abundance in your life. It is such a precious and amazing thing. This has been Wild Rocket with you from Osaka, Kansai region, Japan. It's been my first video for a while. It's always good to connect again. I'll be back again very soon with the next video. There is so much to share. This is only the beginning. Have a wonderful rest of the day and be blessed. Go with love and do something amazing and unfamiliar today. Peace be with you all. God bless.